Okay, this is certainly an angle. I am not going to change it because I can't be asked to shrink my tripod down currently. So this is what I'm working with. First check-in for the Adventurerathon. I finished Shinigami Doctor Volume 2, which is my required read for the assassin prompt, to read something with a defensive word in the title, and I elected that the word doctor is defensive enough, and the whole plot is to save humanity from extinction. So we are going with that. It's a quick little read, and I know this is just a trilogy, and it's not like these mangas are not like super big. They are like 192 pages long, so this is only a rather short trilogy. And I have to say, the mystery seated in this second volume is amazing. Like, the first one was just established. I'm pointing over there because my bookshelf's over there with volume 1. The first one was just setting up the world. This is how the Shinigami plant works. This is how the Shinigami doctors, the titular doctors, work, and these are our characters and where they come from. And this one is actually seeding a mystery while all of this action is going on, and that was just brilliantly executed. Also, just so you know, like, how long this has been on my shelf, this is referencing Germany winning the World Cup in 2014. That's how long this has been on my TBR, and I'm just now reading it for the first time. I like this one. I gave it 4 stars, I believe. 3.5 or 4 stars. Something in that realm. I'm looking forward to volume 3. This is going to be the wrap-up vlog to end all camera angles, I feel. Welcome to my bed. We are indeed kind of high up because I now own a bunk bed, and I'm a tree dweller. I love being higher up, so that's okay with me. I finished Hounded by Kevin Hearne. I forgot how much of a white man Kevin Hearne is. I hope it gets better in the future, but let's just say Atticus is, at one point he says it, he is biologically 21 years old. And I mean, good for him that he gets to shag the Morrigan and what's her name, Fleetish is I think how you pronounce it. He gets to shag a bunch of gods, which good for him, and they offered it, so it's fine, but like, we can describe women by not commenting on how much they have upstairs, you know? And we don't have to compare everyone to a Victoria's Secret model, because that would be an unhealthy standard, besides other things. But anyway, I had fun, just like the first time around. It's a lot quicker than I remember it being, but also the last time I read this, I was a very slow reader. This is one of the first books I ever read, really. So, like, this came basically right after my Twilight-fueled vampire obsession. Vampires! I was young, I was dumb. Leave me alone. But yeah, I had fun. Is this a literary masterpiece? No. It is very exposition heavy, I realized. There's a lot of stuff that's just being explained, but it's not necessarily world building. It is very much the fact that Kevin Hearne is a high school teacher. It's not necessarily how you would sit in school and someone's teaching something to you, but it very much gives, okay, you need to know this for the test. Or it's nice to know. It's someone info dumping about their special interest, kind of, and the special interest happens to be Irish, ancient Irish religions and other religions and shit. Anyway, long story short, again, I had fun. This is a quick read. I also have book 2 on my TBR. I actually started it today. I'm already 74 pages in. Yeah, I had fun. I gave this a 3 or 3.5 star, I don't remember. Which is funny given that I literally just gave this a rating a couple hours ago. But here we are. And with this one, I get some iron fittings for the ship because it has the word iron technically on the cover, so it's technically in the title. You can't see it on my camera, but there, it's right there. It's technically in the title because we Germans love to put the series title on the cover, so I get that. So I just finished Hexed by Kevin Hearne, which is the second book in the Iron Druid Chronicles, and it's very much like the first one. I was wrong, however. It's not Polish witches we are fighting, it's German witches we are fighting together with the Polish witches. The Polish witches are the good ones, and they are also kind of Bulgarian, and one of them is German. It's the whole thing. It's much like the first one. It's action, it's fun, it's cultures together, and yeah, the one thing that's different though is that the second book is very much just set up for the third one in many things. Like the first one is just info dumping about who is Atticus and what is his culture, and then we have the witch stuff that was teased in the first one, and now we have at the end of that set up for book 3 where we go to Asgard to hunt down and kill Thor because apparently he's a dick. 2 down, 1, 2, 3 more to go on my shelf, and the whole series is 9 books long, so I'll be entertained for a hot second. But yeah, solid read, a fun thing, not much else to say about it. And now I have to think about what I'm going to read next, because I have no idea. But with that, I have my second iron fillings done. So it's been a hot second, again with the angles, beautiful reflection. Seems like this book wants to give me a side quest or something. It's been a hot second since I updated you, because I just totally forgot that I'm supposed to film these things. Hi, I'm here, I'm still reading books. First and foremost, let me find it. I read Elden Ring Volume 1 for the prompt for lumber to have a tree on the cover because it has the Elden tree in the background right there. And oh my god, this is, I don't know what I was expecting from this, but it was so funny. And the manga is self-aware. Like you literally have characters explain how you're supposed to play the game to the main character. And the game is so self-aware to the point that like the main character is like, choose a name, and he can't come up with something, so he gets a really weird name. And it's funny in a stupid kind of way. I just love it. I enjoyed my time a lot more with this than I was expecting to. Again, I didn't expect anything from a manga adaptation of a video game that doesn't really have a plot. So this is good shit. This is funny. I think I'm going to get the other volumes just because I want to see where this is going. Also, Blythe, my beloved puppy knight, he is so dumb. He is so dumb. I love him. Like this guy. In the game, he's just really cool, but he's actually just a giant puppy. He doesn't know shit. He's such a himbo, and I love him. I love him even more now. And just because of Blythe, I now need to know what they are going to do with Malekith, because Malekith is the puppy knight in this one, and yeah, I need to know if he's also just a himbo. And the other thing I finished, for which I need my bookshelf, is down here, and that would be City of Carnal Delight by Chloe Parker. Little less glare, maybe. This is an angle we can work with, right? City of Carnal Delight by Chloe Parker. I remembered that I fell in love with In Her Thrall. I forgot how good Chloe Parker is at putting the gothic horror in gothic horror romance, because oh my god, this is so good. This is so good. I don't even know how to describe it, but like the atmosphere is so well done. The story is so well done, and the description of the horror aspects of everything. Fuck yeah. And the characters too. Like this book is not even 300 pages long, and the character work in here is better than in some traditionally published 500 plus page fantasy books. This is some good shit. If you want some really good gothic horror with romance in it, get yourself a Chloe Parker. Maybe keep this until fall, because A, the vibes are immaculate, and B, the book takes place in fall, so if you're one of those people who has to read a book in the same season it takes place, this is a fall book. Oh my god, it's so good! It's so good! I don't even know what to say other than it's so good. I loved all of these characters. Jacinda, Harry, Walter, and what the fuck, Raphael. It's so good. I need Chloe Parker to pick up the pace, because in this one we go into the chalice. Like the whole thing is that there is this club of occultists in London, and there are like certain people that do shit. Like we have mediums, we have exorcists, yada yada yada. And this book specifically seeded multiple pairings and couples and throuples and whatnot, like multiple relationships that might be at one point used to write another book. And I need Chloe Parker to pick shit up, because this shit is good and I need more. Elden Ring I gave 4 stars, 3.5 or 4 stars, I don't know. And this one is a 4.5. This was so close to being 5 stars. So close. But that's not all I finished, because you may or may not know that I am involved with a theater group, and that theater group has adapted The Little Prince by, I don't know the author's name, it's something French. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, I think. I don't know, my French sucks. They adapted that for the stage, and I went twice because it's actually the favorite children's story of my mother. So I forced her to come with me the second time around. And she said, you might want to read it. So I read The Little Prince, because I never read it. I never read Le Petit Prince. So I read The Little Prince. And technically I read it 3 times now, because the stage adaptation was basically word for word. But oh my god, this is so cute! This is so cute! I gave this one 5 stars, simply because. And yeah, we have a really old edition, and for my mother's birthday she got a special print edition for the 80th anniversary of the book. And wait, this is from the theater production. They gave out bookmarks, so that's pretty neat. And I counted Le Petit Prince for the weekend prompt we had, because there was a ruin to be explored, and the prompt for exploring the ruin meant you had to read something that's at least 25 years old, or that takes place in the past. And I read Le Petit Prince for that, because again, it's 80 years old. I also read Kindred by Octavia E. Butler, just because I wanted to, and I needed something quick-ish that has this historical context, so I read Kindred, which is the story of a woman who at some point just starts being pulled back in time because one of her ancestors is about to die, and she saves his life. And she gets misplaced in time, in the past and the present, her present a lot, when he's in peril, and she has to wrestle with the fact that she in the past lives as a slave, because she is a black woman and she is transported back into plantation times. So she actually has to live as a slave, and it's like a whole exploration of that. Like, she also has a white husband in the past, in the present, and at one point he is dragged back with her, and he can't see a lot of the issues she's facing. Like, it's a whole kerfuffle, and I have to say, it was a solid read. At times it was so solid that I was like, this was written like a couple decades ago? What? It was so good. I gave that one 4 stars, and I also counted it for the ruin prompt. And that is where I'm up to currently. I am behind on my TBR. I have to pick things up a bit. We are back in the corner again, because I finished more things and then put them away before talking about it. Whoopsies. Last night I finished Witch and Cat for the rope prompt. If you haven't seen my TBR, why are you here? Go watch my TBR. This one is one where I had to stretch the prompt a bit, because the prompt for rope says that you are supposed to read something that has some sort of connection between people. And witch and cat, there is no like possessive word in there, right? So I had to stretch the rules, because the German title has the word familiar in it. The German title is Familiar of the Witch, so there is the possessiveness in this. And this one is a boys love manga, and it was really good. It was really good. So we follow this guy and his neighbor, and this guy is just like, he's your typical himbo, and he knows it. He knows he's not the brightest candle on the cake, but he's good at punching people, so that's what he does. He punches people a lot, actually. But he's also kind of nice, and he knows his pure size can intimidate people, but he really wants to be just a nice guy. And I think he has like some sort of crush on his neighbor, because he's always greeting him, so it's nice to him, but his neighbor is always trying to ignore him, until one day he's like, okay, cool, fine, I acknowledge your existence to tell you that you should keep ignoring me, that I'm not interested in any kind of social interaction. The himbo doesn't care, and then one day the himbo sees his neighbor being harassed and just steps in and saves him, basically. But while saving him, he gets shot, fatally wounded. His neighbor is like, shit, and takes him somewhere else, and uses his magic to keep him alive, because his neighbor, turns out, is a witch. And he is basically like, okay, listen, we have 24 hours to complete this contract. I gave you a temporary magical contract that saved your life. We have 24 hours to make it an official contract, and then you turn into my familiar, which is based on a cat, so you have 9 lives. You already died once, so it's only 8 lives left, but basically, he turns him invincible for like a certain amount of time. And then the rest of the story is that this witch is being hunted by witch hunters who trap other witches in order to have them make these contracts with people to turn them into super soldiers or cure people from weird diseases and shit. And the the witch then gets in all sorts of trouble and have to travel around the whole time, and while they travel, they realize I actually like the other one. The witch had to live his life completely disconnected from everyone else because if someone gets close to him, they will die inevitably because of the witch hunters. And the himbo guy doesn't let anyone get close to him because he knows he's a dangerous person. He actually killed someone and is guilt-ridden because of it, and he's like, yeah, everything I touch breaks because I'm a magnet for violence. So they don't want to interact with each other, but they realize they are actually really invested in making the other person feel good, and they just slowly fall in love over the course of this manga, and it was actually executed really well. It's also smutty because this contract, the temporary contract is made with a kiss, and the final contract is sealed with bonking, and in order to recharge the healing abilities of a familiar, the familiar has to bonk the witch. Let's just call it sex magic. But yeah, it's I'm sad that this is a standalone, actually. Like, this is just one volume, that's all you get, but the story was actually so good, and the concept was so good that I wish there was more. That we can see these two characters thrive. Also, the bad guy has a very interesting story, and I would love to know more about him and his familiar. And, like, I want more! I want more! I gave this 4 stars. And I read this for the rope prompt again, and we are severely lacking at this point in the rope prompt, so. Which is why I immediately picked up Spy Family today. I finished this like an hour ago, Spy Family Volume 4 to be exact, and I was right! We now have a weird dog. We call him Bond, and he can look into the future, apparently. So now we have a guy who's pretending to be a dad, who's actually a super spy, who has adopted a child that can read minds, and he fake married a assassin. None of these people know who each other are, and now we have a dog who can look into the future. This is getting wilder with each installment, and I'm so here for it. I'm also very glad that we didn't go to school in this volume. If you have been around my Spy Family journey, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of the school parts of this manga so far. I don't know why, I just don't like it, but yeah. This is also kind of a self-contained story, because this is literally just getting the dog, and getting the dog means saving the world, or at least the country, from a very bad war breaking out. Like, shit exploding, people dying. I had fun with this one. Also a 4-star read, and again for the work prompt, because it's a family, there is a connection here. Sadly, that means I don't have any reads left for something with a familial connection. Kinda stupid, but I'm also currently running through the final book support group, so I have other things to read. If you want to know more about my reads for the final book support group, you have to watch the vlog for the final book support group. You will not see the books in here as long as they don't overlap with my Adventurerathon TBR. Come with me as I make myself another matcha latte, even though I probably shouldn't have another matcha latte, but there's no one here to stop me. At the same time, I'm also telling you about an arc that I read for no reason other than it's an arc that had to be read, and B, it had buildings on the cover. And as I previously mentioned, I think I previously mentioned that, we have weekly challenges or like weekend events during the Adventurerathon, and the last event was that there was a storm coming. Cue Epic the Musical. And in order to make sure that not all our resources go poof in the wind and learn how to fly, we had to read something with a storm, like the word storm in the title, or something that features buildings on the cover. And yes, I know that I need a haircut. I'm letting my hair grow out so I can wear it short for summer. Don't at me. So I was scrambling to find something that I could just throw into my way too ambitious reading plans, and lo and behold, I was approved for the arc of Ionheart, and I was like, haha, there's buildings on the cover, I'm reading that shit. So I did, and Ionheart by Lukas Kummer? He's from Austria, so I should probably pronounce the name German. So Lukas Kummer is a comic/graphic novel about a knight who lives in this fantasy world that is also kind of dystopian. Like, it mixes modern or even futuristic technology with a medieval fantasy setting like you're used to. And it does so by creating some dimension hopping multiversal storyline. And I thought that idea was brilliant. And the whole graphic novel is split in 3 distinct stories. The first story is where this knight wakes up and figures out, oh shit, it's been 30 years since a nuke erupted and destroyed the whole kingdom and everything is now radioactive and shitty and shit. And he tries to fix that. And this story is told in one distinct timeline where we follow this knight. He wakes up, he gets his shit, he runs away from a demon, which turns out is like a Terminator robot, and then he reaches the castle and fixes shit back up again. Then the second story is he goes back to his present, which is our future, and a different dimension for the medieval fantasy world. And he there sees, okay, this world has completely destroyed itself in the past 30 years that I was just like, it's out of commission. And we then get his backstory in the futuristic world, which leads up to his backstory in the medieval world. But we also get the story of the present of the medieval world, because he brought back the princess so she can fix the kingdom. It's a whole thing. And then the third story is even more backstory, but this time more focused on the thing that actually made this dimension hopping possible in the first place. And I have to say, the first story was amazing. Like the combination of modern day technology, which is considered magic in the present story of the medieval times, that was brilliant. And then it got needlessly complicated very, very fast to a point where you were following so many different storylines that the cool storyline of what the guy was doing this night completely fell off the rails. Like, he was literally just sitting there telling a spaceship his story because the spaceship wanted to know. I guess so that the reader knew how it actually came to this whole, the knight has to travel a nuclear landscape running away from a robot in a medieval fantasy world. So I gave that all over, like, the whole thing got from me 3 stars. The first story was amazing, the second one was and the third story was completely unnecessary because we then introduced some weird serial killer bullshit and it was just milking the story kind of. So didn't like that, but I gave it 3 stars and the colors were amazing. The colors were really, like, it was really popping. Like, it was very neon punk. It basically had the color scheme of your typical cyberpunk aesthetic. But again, it was like medieval times with modern day technology until we went back to his original world, which is technically a futuristic world. It was a whole thing. The aesthetics were amazing. But yeah, the story, again, it just dwindled fast. So I read that for the bonus prompt of reading something with a building on the cover, because there are a couple of destroyed buildings on the cover for Ionheart. Should you be interested in reading that, it does come out in English. It's the first English graphic novel of this author. He previously only published in German, but now it's like the first international thing that he's publishing. So if you're interested in weird dimension hopping, time travel, magic, sci-fi, dystopian shit, I guess. And the second thing I read is back in my bookshelves. I finished The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and I can tell you that I am indeed an anomaly in the statistics because I enjoyed The Night Circus. And I am a fan of The Starless Sea. Therefore, according to the internet, I am an anomaly. Okay, cool. I take that. I mean, that is exactly what I was setting out to do when I made my TBR. I wanted to prove the internet wrong, and I did. Can you tell that I'm an Aries? Everything I do is a competition. It was just such a beautiful story, you know? Like, this whole magical circus, and there's enough intrigue in it, but at the same time, the intrigue is only on the reader's side, because the characters know exactly what's happening, but they don't bother explaining it to you, and that is a beauty all in itself. The fact that they don't tell you, that this is their reality, they made that. Like, no one in the circus is aging, and you only figure out why towards the end of the book, but no one is questioning it. Well, there's one character who questions it, but that's a whole other thing. It does have more plot than The Starless Sea. The Starless Sea has little to no plot, and The Night Circus at least has a through line that you can follow. But again, if you're looking for a pacey plot that reveals itself to you and gets places, you're gonna keep looking. I was all the way until the end totally confused what Bailey was doing there. I did not care about Bailey, but I knew it's an Erin Morgenstern book, so even though I don't care about the character, he probably has a role to fulfill. And I was right. Same goes for the twins. I thought they were standing for something, but then in the end, I mean, they kind of did, but at the same time, there was something else. Tsukiko? That was left field, but in a good kind of way, you know? And yeah, I just liked it. I just like what happened. And this is another one of those stories that ends with a very ambiguous ending, and it has the balls to stay ambiguous. It doesn't give you a complete resolving of the final thing that happened. And I like it when stories have the balls to leave things up to my imagination. And given that this whole book is a story about imagination, fighting against imagination, yes! I loved The Night Circus. I gave it 4.5 stars. It wasn't quite a 5-star. It didn't make me have so many emotions as the Starless Sea, so I had to knock it down a tiny nudge. 4.5, still love it. I'm going to make my matcha now. What a month. As you might be able to tell, this is going to be my outro to this reading wrap-up. As of filming this, I have no idea if we did it. I personally don't know the stats or the stats we needed to reach to escape from this island. So I have no idea if we did it in terms of Adventurerathon. But wow, what a month. This is officially my best reading month yet. In 2025, I read 19 things over the course of May. 19! All of them I managed to squeeze in for the Adventurerathon, even though they were not all on my TBR, but I also participated in the Final Book support group. I have a vlog out about that, and in that one I read another 5 things. If you want to hear my thoughts about that, check out the vlog. And wow, 19 things. Almost 6,000 pages. Holy fucking shit balls. What a successful month. I'm pretty sure I'm going to slow things down for the coming months. I know that my June is going to be relaxed compared to the rest of the year I had. And I also already have my plans for July figured out, and I know they are going to be slower, so I hopefully can avoid a reading slump, but holy moly! Also, I reached my yearly reading goal of 52 books in May, early May, which is also ridiculous. This happened. This happened. Let me see if I can find all the books I read. This stack is ginormous. I don't even know if I can lift it, let alone fit it into the frame. Here goes nothing. Okay. Wait. Ah! There we go. And that's not even all of the things I read this month. What the fuck? This does not include any of the ebooks. I had a couple of ebooks I read. There was an audiobook arc right at the end that I squeezed in. That's a lot of books. I can literally fill the whole frame with this. That was my May. That was my Adventurerathon. If you made it this far into the video, let me know how you did during the month. If you don't have anything to say, leave an ocean-related emoji down in the comments. I guess I will see you in the next video, if this stack doesn't kill me beforehand. Bye!